Welcome to Listen to Your Skin by Moon and Skin, the podcast where science meets nature to celebrate the story of your skin. Your skin is a living canvas, ever evolving, deeply personal, and uniquely yours. Each week, we'll dive into the science of healthy skin, share empowering stories, and uncover transformative self-care rituals. We're here to help you embrace every phase of your journey with confidence and care.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Listen to Your Skin podcast by Moon and Skin, and I'm your host, board-certified dermatologist, Dr. Jen Haley. And today, I'm excited to welcome Gabby to the show. She's a licensed esthetician based in Scottsdale, Arizona, and my esthetician. After struggling with her own skin for years, she made it her mission to educate and empower her clients with the knowledge and treatments they need to look and feel their best. Her specialty is creating customized skincare routines and delivering unforgettable facials that leave both your inner and outer self glowing. Today, she's here to share her expert insights on building an effective skincare routine, the power of professional in-office treatments, and the self-care rituals that can make a difference. Welcome to the show, Gabby.
Hi, nice to have you.
I love having you. So I'm so glad. I've been looking forward to this conversation all week.
Yes.
And I want to first start with your journey. So we all have a journey of why we become or why we do what we do in life to give back to others. What is your personal skincare journey?
Yeah, so my journey is a little different than others. I initially wanted to go into nursing, trying that field, and, having that realm of being interested in nursing.
So when you started nursing, were you in college and then you had an aha moment of thinking that you wanted to do something for someone's skin? Obviously, you have a nurturing nature.
Yeah. No, for sure. I originally started doing competitive gymnastics as a coach, so I always wanted to help people and be in that realm, working with others. And so when I thought about doing skincare, I just knew I struggled with my skin myself. So after dabbling into that realm of nursing, I was like, well, maybe I want to do the approach of skincare and work on how I worked on myself and be able to learn how to provide that to others.
Yeah, it's interesting because I wanted to be a pediatrician, and then I realized, I just think I like kids, but I like the problem solving of dermatology and how the skin represents your internal health. But when I look back, I think often we go into areas where we need the most help. And I was a really itchy kid. I was always itching. So what did you struggle with? Like what were your dermatology or your skin conditions that made you feel compassionate towards other people that were also dealing with it?
Yeah, so when it came to acne, especially when I was a teen and struggling with that, there wasn't really too many options. It was either, go to the drugstore and find a random ingredient or a random product to try on your skin. So there wasn't really that much advice or knowledge that you could reach at such a young age. So when I got older and I was still experiencing acne at that age, from teens to adulthood, I wanted to dabble in that and see what I could do to fix my skin and different ingredients and to make it helpful for my skin.
You clearly hacked it. So, I mean, looking at your skin now, nobody would ever know that you have acne. And I think it's so important for people to know who are struggling with it, that like just because you have it today doesn't mean you have to have it forever. Definitely. So what are some of the types of acne that you see in your practice or maybe that you have personally experienced? And like what direction can people go both at home and in the office?
Yeah, so I definitely see a wide range of different types of acne from teenagers all the way up to women going through menopause and dealing with hormonal acne in that realm. So I definitely see different ranges of it. There's many different ways to treat acne and in home and in office. My favorite ones are chemical peels. I feel like that's a really great exfoliation for the skin. Gets really down deep in the pores because there's many different types of acne. It could be the inflamed, non-inflamed, cystic. You can see a wide range of them. So for home care wise, I always recommend my client keeping up on the exfoliating property, icing at home, and especially like LED light has become very popular nowadays to help treat and heal it. So So we're all about healing it and keeping it hydrated, because a common myth would be, we want to strip the barrier, use as much salicylic or mandelic to just get rid of it, but that's not getting down to the root cause. We want to hydrate and focus on the skin's health and microbiome health of it as well.
Right? It's so multifactorial because, acne has multiple different causes. They're not just one cause of acne. So there's, the chemical peels, which help address the plugging of the pores. And then there's oil production, which tends to happen during certain times of our monthly cycle or during the teenage years. And that kind of collects the dead skin cells and plugs them even worse. And then once it bursts under the skin, then you have all that inflammation and bacteria. So depending on the cause is how you kind of direct your treatment.
Definitely.
So how do you, before we dive into the different types of chemical peels, if someone comes in and they're struggling with acne, I always feel like the first thing I have to tell them is you need to be patient and stick with something, right? Because people want to try 100 things.
A quick fix. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always recommend, 3 to 4 months is the good buffer time to be you're going to see some good results, but you got to go through the purging phase. Your skin can get worse before it gets better. And I think that's a really hard concept for some of my clients to grasp, is because they think it's going to be that quick fix. One peel is going to be the fix-all, but it's home care. And I like to tell my clients it's an 80-20 rule. You want to have 80% home care and then your 20% treatment and care, because what you do at home is going to be your biggest change.
Right? It's sort of like if someone comes to you and you're the dental hygienist cleaning their teeth, they still have to brush their teeth at home. So if someone is struggling with acne, or even if they want prejuvenation, just say they're in their 20s or 30s, or even if they want anti-aging and a little reversal, what's a good at-home skincare routine that you often recommend?
Yeah, so, your bread and butter is going to be a good double cleanse.
What's a double cleanse?
Yeah, so double cleanse is honestly one of my favorites. It's the best way to start your routine. You always start with an oil-based cleanser to get rid of all that dead skin, the oil, the buildup of makeup. That's kind of like your sweeping. And then you'll go in with your second cleanse. That could be any cleanser that's good for your skin type, so glycolic or just a cream-based one. And that's going to be our mopping. So you want to brush, you want to sweep first, and then you want to mop the skin. So it's a little analogy I always like to tell my clients, because you got to do both to get a good slate to your skin. So you'd always start with the cleanse. Go in with your toner next. That could be whatever goal you're trying to reach, and it's very customizable with that. And then, of course, serums. And that's the fun part, is serums. You can do so many different mixologies, so many different combinations. Moisturizer, of course, keeping up with the skin's moisture, hydration, and then our number one, sunscreen at the end for your day-to-day operations.
That's really nice. Yeah. So do you do a double cleanse in the morning or just at night to get the makeup off and the environmental?
Yeah, I typically just do a double cleanse at nighttime. You can do it in the morning if people sweat a little bit more when they're sleeping, or they just feel that layer on. I personally just like to do a good first cleanse in the morning time with either a gel or a lactic acid type of cleanser to really get deep into the pores to prep my skin for.
Yeah, I think that your point about the cleansing is so essential, because I think, we don't talk about cleanser a lot. Everybody wants to go to the targeted directed serums, but having a good cleanser is so important in order to prep the skin to absorb the actives in the products. And if we're not using the right cleanser, to your point, we can strip the skin barrier. So what I don't like people to feel is that tight feeling on their skin. Yes. So I like a creamy cleanser that actually is active. And the way I can tell, so Moon and Skin has created this kale protein cleanser that actually cleanses the skin. But when I take toner afterwards and I sweep the skin, I don't see much dirt left. So that's how I know my cleanser is doing a good job without feeling tight and raw or burning, because we want to listen to our skin and know it's not burning afterwards, right?
Yes. Yeah, we want to, treat it and keep it hydrated and protect that microbiome health, because exactly. If we strip it, your products and your serums aren't going to really do much for it after.
Right. There's such a fine line where we're walking, where we're exfoliating and removing the dead skin cells so things can penetrate. but yet not stripping the skin barrier so it's raw and irritated and we're getting a dermatitis. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Yes. Yeah.
So how do we know that we're in that spot?
I think just like what you said, if we're feeling that burning or that dryness and almost feeling like you're, if you like open your mouth and you feel it like tug, that's when I tell clients, I'm like, that might be not the best cleanser for you. You want to keep that hydration. You want to feel your skin kind of have that bounce back to it. And if it's feeling too tight or almost flaky, then that might not be the one for you.
And how about with exfoliation? So with exfoliation, I mean, I've been doing this so long, right? Yeah. So for myself, I know my skin. We actually have to get to the point where we look for advice externally, but then we listen to our own body and how our own body responds and listen to ourselves and intuitively know what we need. How do you direct your clients to determine that they need a little more exfoliation or a little exfoliation? Because with the seasons, with the seasons of our life, with our hormonal cycles, like all of those needs are going to change at different geographic environments. Like when I go to California, I need more exfoliation than in Arizona where it's dry and my skin doesn't tolerate it. So how do you guide people as far as when to exfoliate? Like what's a good rule?
I always like to go in and feel the skin because I think that's how you're going to know what's best for your clients is feeling the skin, what it feels like and what it looks like. Sometimes if they have that buildup of texture on, then I would like to recommend a physical exfoliant. I could have some different beads or different properties in there to give a good scrub. But that also goes back to our acne clients because if you have that inflamed acne, you don't want to do a scrub on the skin because that's just going to irritate it, spread more bacteria. So then you would go in with a different type of exfoliant, like a chemical or I'd mainly go chemical for sure for the inflamed acne. But yeah, I guess just feeling the skin and seeing the texture and what would be a best one for them.
See, so you're describing feeling the skin and knowing the texture. And what I hear from people a lot is they're like, I'm so dry. I'm so dry. My skin's so dry. And I think it's often misunderstood that when your skin is dry, the moisturizer is not going to penetrate until you exfoliate off those dead skin cells because the dead skin cells are like almost insulating your healthy skin below from absorbing any moisturizer.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is exfoliate first, but not to the point of irritation.
Exactly. A good key would say like 2 to 3 times a week. Kind of got to feel your skin to see what it feels like. Because if you're doing too much exfoliation, like we said, you can overstrip it and you're going to feel that like irritation. And sometimes you can get more acne from that if you're over stripping and you're over exfoliating.
Okay, I want to go back to the purging. Like, how do you define purging? Because it's a word that we use to kind of explain to people that, when I squeeze my skin in the deeper layers, there's pimples already there, and we need to give it a good 2 to 3 months to kind of surface to the top. But I think dermatologists overall, I'm not one of them, but they don't like to hear the word purge because it's not actually a purge, but it's sort of a resurfacing. So, like, how do you explain to your clients, like, what to expect with the purging? Because it's not like the acne is getting worse from your treatment. It's just coming to the surface quicker than it would have anyway.
Exactly. And I actually like that you say that's resurfacing because that's really what it's coming to the surface. Because we're doing those chemical exfoliation, you're speeding up the cellular turnover of the skin. So what's trapped underneath the skin and what's kind of hidden will come back to the surface because we're exfoliating and we're speeding up that cellular turnover in the skin. So it's coming up, and that's the frustrating part because it's almost like, oh, my skin's looking worse, but it's coming to the surface faster so we can heal it and treat it.
Yeah, so the next cycle will be clear, and that's the biggest mistake I see. Tell me if you see this, where people they'll get into the routine and be really committed for a couple of weeks, and then they're purging, the purging is happening, or the surfacing, as you mentioned, is coming, and their acne might get a little bit worse because you're turning over skin cells quicker, so you're making those pimples that would have come up anyway all come up kind of quickly, and then they want to switch skincare, and it confused angry skin is a result of too many products.
Yes. So a lot of clients will try those new products and feel that they're, oh, it's not working, it's getting worse, but it's a good rule of thumb that you got to at least do a month, try out your products, let it absorb into your skin and do its job first before you completely give up on it. Because sometimes if you're using too high of an ingredient or something that doesn't agree with your skin, it'll break out everywhere in a way. So you kind of get that like almost allergy and reactive result if you're using too much too fast.
And then you get to the point where everything's irritating you,
yes,
right?
Yeah, if you're trying too many things all at once and your skin's just going to freak out.
Okay, so morning cleanse, night double cleanse, morning vitamin C, then a targeted serum, then a moisturizer sunscreen.
Yes.
Night,
perfect.
What are we doing after our double cleanse at night?
Yeah, so at nighttime, we want to heal the skin. It's always morning time, like we said with the vitamin C and sunscreen, we want to protect it. Nighttime is personally my favorite time, is when we're getting to heal it and protect it. So nighttime, I always like to go in with a little bit more thicker ingredients. So a little bit thicker moisturizer, a oil base to really lock in that hydration. You can pretty much do the same serums and toner that you would do in the morning time, but I would add more hydration into it. Kind of really lock it all in there.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because the science supports this too. So we have our circadian clock, and in the morning we want to support protection, and then at night help with the cellular renewal and regeneration. And we actually have more transepidermal water loss where we're losing more hydration at night. Yeah. So that's exactly when you want to like lock it in. It's like the women in the 1950s with all the cold cream all over their face. Like they had it right back then, except we have better products now that are more elegantly formulated. Okay, so that's at home, and everyone, no matter how often they come to see you, you want them to be doing something at home to support their treatment with you.
Yes, 100%. Because, like I said, the 80-20 rule, that's always good rule of thumb. I would rather my clients be on a great home care regimen than come and see me in office. If that's in their budget, I would love for them to have the home care set up, because, like we said, if you're going to go to the dentist, get your teeth cleaned, and then not brush it at home, what's going to happen? Like,
sounds crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So home care is going to be super huge. That's if you want to take extra steps and do like a face mask or more exfoliation or add in that LED light, different modalities, you can definitely do that. And that's just going to enhance your results and further enhance your progress into your skin.
Okay, so it probably will expedite it. So when somebody's doing a targeted treatment, you'll have them come in a little bit more often, and then maintenance is a little bit different. Expand on that.
Yeah, so it's depending on how quick clients want to get their skincare fixed and what their goals are. You know, I have a lot of clients that come in that are either getting married or have a big event coming in, so they want to target their skincare faster. So we would go in like every 2 weeks rather than once a month to really get that fast-paced results. And then after, we'll go into the maintenance realm, and maybe that's once a month or, you know, every other month doing a facial and then microneedling or something like that to enhance it for their goals.
Let's talk about the chemical peels a little bit more, and then we'll dive into the facial and the microneedling, like what procedures people can do before an event versus to kind of stimulate collagen or treat acne. So when you're doing chemical peels, which I think chemical peels don't get the attention they deserve because they are really, really effective at helping people with brown spots, with fine lines and wrinkles, with acne. But, you know, we have lasers out nowadays that are like a more sexy kind of like therapy.
Yeah.
But yet chemical peels are more affordable, and I find them almost to be as effective, except for broken blood vessels. I find them as effective when they're done correctly by someone who knows what they're doing. So if someone comes in and they want a chemical peel or a series of chemical peels, how do you decide which chemical? I hate the word chemical. I always think we need to have a better word for these acids than chemical. But like, how do you decide which acid to use, whether it's mandelic or salicylic or glycolic? How do you decide which acid to use for their chemical peel based on their targeted treatment?
Yeah, so there's a variety of different peels that we can use, which is great because we have options. Because it can be for pigmentation if they want to target that more. I guess going down to what they want to target more in particularly, you would go in with my approach, I like to go a little bit on the lighter side to get started and then go into the heavier peels because you don't know how the skin's going to react to their first time chemical peel. So you want to go a little bit on the lighter side. That could be a lower percent of mandelic or lactic acid, and then you can bump it up and use some with TCA or any other higher ingredient acid that you can have onto the skin.
You keep mentioning mandelic acid.
Yeah.
It seems to be a favorite.
Oh, it is. I know. I always mention mandelic because that's just a very popular one too.
It's from almonds.
Yes, it's an almond-derived ingredient, which is great for giving oxygen to the pores. It really goes down deep into there. So that's a good one. Salicylic, I would say that's going to be your acne fighter for the non-inflamed acne. So those little bumps that you can get now and then. So if I have a client coming in and, they struggle a little bit with acne, but not too much, they just get kind of that texture, I like to do some salicylic because that's going to be a little bit on the lighter side, but also give you that good results as well. But when it comes to like pigmentation, adding in some like TCA chemical, that's usually one of my favorites for pigment and rejuvenating for anti-aging.
I love that. Okay, I love that so much. And I like that you mentioned starting out low. Like start low, go slow, because we live in a blended world where like I'm part Spanish, I'm part Irish, so I have red sensitive skin and hyperpigmentation. And for anyone listening, what I often see, and I don't know if you see this too, is that people will come in and they wait maybe a little bit too long and then they want quick results and they go really hard. But if sort of, you want to look at how you heal with a scratch. So like when we get a scratch or a burn or a pimple, does it heal with a pink scar or does it heal with a brown scar? And if you go too aggressive with chemical peels or laser or microneedling or really anything in the office, you might get post-inflammatory erythema or post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which is basically that type of scarring that you end up getting after inflammation. So by starting slow and low, you're going to give the skin a chance to like accommodate, basically, and then you can go a little bit deeper once it hardens, as opposed to going too much and then getting hyperpigmentation that's going to last 6 to 8 months.
Definitely. And that also goes back to home care. I wouldn't ever do a aggressive peel on someone if they're not doing the home care, because that's going to be your most important part. So if you're doing this aggressive peel and you're coming home and just slabbing anything on your face, you're not going to get those results. And the peel's probably not going to do as good of a job as it could have been if you're using the right ingredients and giving that skin a prep and, heal it afterwards.
So how do you like to prep people before a chem peel?
Yeah, so definitely for like their first time appointment, I like to go in with a glycolic toner. That kind of preps the skin and you can see if they get reacted. So oftentimes if the skin is ready for a peel and you put that toner on top, it'll be fine. You won't get any itchiness or tingliness, maybe like a 1 out of 5. But if you're feeling like that 3, that can mean the skin's compromised. The barrier is a little irritated. So then I'd be more weary about doing a deeper chemical peel if their skin isn't technically ready for it.
That's a really good test. I've never heard that before. I like that a lot. Yeah. How do you feel about retinol before peels? Because I hear, people like to be dogmatic on either way, like, no, don't do it because it will make the peel go deeper. And I was always trained to do retinoids before because it removes the dead skin cells and it makes the chemical peel more even in penetration. Yeah. And I could see both sides of the argument, So like, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm not opposed to it as well. I think it could be a really good prep, as you say, for the skin. I only just like to tell clients maybe 1 to 2 days to give your skin a little bit of a break so it doesn't get as irritated and the chemicals kind of don't mix together from like the leftover retinol on the skin. So like I said, I'm not opposed to it as well. I would say just 2 days before, off of retinol, and then you're good to go.
That's okay. And then after, so I have a feeling that after this podcast episode, people are going to be like, I want a chemical peel, right? So just to give them an idea of what to expect with sort of a lunchtime peel or, a peel that's a freshening peel, I tell people, tell me if I'm wrong here, because this is how my skin reacts and how I've seen patients over the years. Like, it almost feels like, hey, Gabby, there's food on your face. Like, there's that light flaking, but you're not exfoliating in sheets with like a light chemical peel. So what do you usually tell people, like, as far as the pre, and then what to expect that night, what not to do, and then when can they return to their normal skincare routine afterwards?
Yeah, so I would say the prep, I would give them advice on keeping the skin hydrated and healthy before you come in. Because you don't want to come in with your skin super dry or irritated from different products, especially not sunburned or irritated in that realm. Afterwards, I always just prep them. You can get some dryness because we are stimulating the cell turnover of the skin. So you can experience some of that dryness and flakiness, but it's all about how you apply your products on afterwards. So keeping up the moisturizer and sunscreen, because that's going to be number one, because our skin can get sensitized after a peel. So you want to protect it with the sunscreen barrier so it's not getting irritated and you're losing all that progress you made with the peel.
Right. So we're basically trying to exfoliate off the top layer of the skin at a more rapid rate than it would exfoliate itself, and that sends signals down to the stem cells at the base of the epidermis to kind of like, hey, let's rev up and make fresh skin cells, and that's how we get like more cell renewal.
Yeah, definitely. And that's definitely what people are looking for when they're coming to peels, is they want that glow. You know, they want to feel their skin to be glowy and soft and supple. So peels are in that realm are going to be very good for that.
Do you find that using a red light therapy or LED at home helps enhance healing? Have you played with that?
Yeah, so I personally love to do it in my routine. I think consistency is key when it comes to those products. It's not going to be a one-time fix-all, which some people like to think that, you know, when they're putting it on, like, you're going to get those amazing benefits, but the consistency in the long term is really going to give you that results driven with the LED devices.
Yeah, I like them too. I have a red light panel and I do it in the morning, but there's a sweet spot where if you do just enough, you can stimulate the mitochondria in the fibroblasts to stimulate more collagen. And if you do too much, you actually cause too many reactive oxygen species where it kind of can damage your skin.
Yeah, I could definitely say that.
Right? And same with, I think, muscles and stuff too, but your husband would know that. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, he knows all about that.
Okay, so besides chemical peels, like what other procedures are really common in your practice that you think give good results?
Yeah, so another one that I love and I swear by is microneedling. I think that is amazing for stimulating the collagen reproduction of the skin, especially my clients post peels when it comes to acne, because they'll get that scarring. So once they're clear and they don't have any more active acne, they're sometimes left over with that pigmentation of the redness and sometimes those like deeper scars. And sometimes they would look at their skin and be like, well, the acne's gone, but it still doesn't look how I want it to look. It still has that redness to it. So that's when we would go in with the microneedling. And I swear, like my clients swear by it. It just looks so much better after they're done with their acne peels is to go on with the microneedling.
So you like the chemical peels more for treating active acne and then the microneedling to help with any of the scarring?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, can you explain what microneedling is and what people can expect? And do you numb beforehand?
Yeah, so I love that you brought up numbing because I actually have a few clients that actually go without numbing. That
I don't know if I could.
Yeah, and, you know, I was very surprised with that at first. And, you know, some of them were just like, let's try, you know, and I have clients that fall asleep during microneedling. They just...
That's you. That's because of you.
They love it. It's just like the vibration of it and the relaxation of it. They don't mind it at all. But, yeah, no, so with microneedling, I always like to say we're creating those controlled wounds into the skin. We're going down with the needles in different depths to go into the cells and to stimulate that collagen reproduction. And especially if we have pigment or scarring, it's going to break down those cells, like clusters almost, and to give that glow and that hydration back to the skin. Yeah, and so when we like to do it, I always like to do a dermaplane before. And that's, you know, varies from different esthetician, but I always like to prep the skin with a dermaplane.
What's that? Explain a dermaplane.
Yeah, so dermaplane, honestly, I always say microneedling is my favorite, but dermaplane is probably my favorite as well. So you're taking that medical grade scalpel to remove any dead skin, that peach fuzz, that vellus hair. to really give a good slate to the skin. So that's like your prep. So we'll go in with that, do a quick dermaplane, get all that dead skin, buildup of hair, all of that off first. Then we'll put on the numbing so it can really absorb a lot better. So a lot of my clients say that when we dermaplane first and then numb, they feel a lot more numb because we don't have that layer on as well. And then, we'll go in with a needling, and it will last about an hour. And then I always like to finish it with some LED light, either red light or blue light, to help speed up that healing process.
That's great. Yeah, I feel like red light is better for healing and blue light's great for acne.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially if I'm going with my acne peels, then I will end it with blue light because that's going to help kill the bacteria a little bit more. And then for my clients working on anti-aging or pigment, I like to throw in with the red.
That's amazing. I have not heard anyone do dermaplaning before microneedling, and I love that tip. I had a guest on who was a makeup artist, and she talked about how doing dermaplaning makes the makeup stay on better. So that makes really good sense. I'm going to have to schedule with you to do some dermaplaning.
I love dermaplaning. I was even before coming in today, I was like, I should have dermaplaned to prep my skin for my makeup because, like you said, that's such a great prep for the skin, is to do a dermaplaning.
Right?
You're just going to get a smooth surface.
Okay, so so with chemical peels, like how often do you recommend? Just say I'm 40 years old and I'm noticing some fine lines and wrinkles around my eyes and I'm not really happy with my texture. I live in Arizona, so I have a little bit of pigment on my skin, but nothing really severe yet. I don't have acne. How would you come up with a plan?
Yeah. That's so fun because I love to create plans because there's so many different ways that you can incorporate different treatments into it. I would say with your goals, how fast you want to get there. That's going to be number one because if you're okay with it, taking its time, taking a progress, I like to do once a month. But for those clients out, they're like, I'm ready to really get a kickstart to my routine. I could do every 2 weeks. Coming in, that way we get to see the skin faster, to see how the peels incorporate to their skin and how they react to it.
Yeah, okay. But we also have to work with the skin physiology. So I agree, like coming in more than once every 2 weeks, you're working against the skin physiology because you're not giving it a chance to actually heal and produce collagen.
Yes, yeah, you want to see how it reacts because that's why I do start on the lighter side because every skin is different. Every reaction is different. I could do the same peel on 20 different people and they're all going to get a different result and look different. It's going to be the same ingredients, but everybody's skin is going to be different and take to it at a different pace.
I think that's such a key point because we see all these things online and we think like, oh, they did this and they got that result. That has to be me. Or my sister's a hairstylist and she has people come in and say, I want this. And she's like, but your hair won't do that, right? Like our skin isn't going to respond to the same treatment in the same way either. And gosh, it seems like there's so many great options out there. And it really sounds like you need to go to someone who knows skin, is going to work with you and be patient and walk that journey over time. And what other treatments, before we close out, do you like in the office? Do you do microdermabrasion, anything like that?
So I don't do microdermabrasion. That one, eventually I'm going to bring in some hydrofacial to do that. But microderm, it was never very popular in my practice, but we like to do different peels. And then I also like to do lashes tinting and brow tinting. As you know, you like to do lash tinting.
So for those of you listening, I'm super lazy, and I have eyeliner tattoo, and I have Gabby do my eyelash tinting. Yes. And I was telling another friend of mine that you can get your eyelashes tinted and your eyebrows tinted. She's like, what? I had no idea. So thank you for reminding me. So let's talk about that and how it can be, how long it lasts, what the process is, and how it's like accentuating your asset. It's not changing who you are.
Yeah, so lash and brow tinting is a really great add-on service. It just gives you that little pop. When it comes to the lashes and brows, it can be like 3 to 4 weeks to get a good color. I actually used to do microblading a long time ago, kind of dabbled in everything. And when I did that, I just noticed people like the more natural side of brows. So adding in that tinting gives it that softer look to fade over time, especially with lashes as well. You can give that really nice pop of black color to look like you're wearing mascara, so very low maintenance effect onto that.
Right? You can swim and everything, and your eyelashes look like they have mascara. And I love the color you picked because it does pop.
Yes. Yeah, you really want to look at the color of either the hair on your head or the brow color as well. You know, you want to complement the features that people already have and then enhance that.
Right, and that's the whole thing. Is like we don't want to become anyone else. We just want to enhance who we are naturally. Exactly. I love having you on. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much. I had a good time.
If you have like 3 takeaways, what are 3 takeaways that you can give the listeners and just everyone who wants to be their best self and show up authentically, like from your experience and your world, that people could start incorporating easily every day?
Yeah, I mean, always be you. Always be confident in who you are. Do what's right for yourself because there's only one of you. You know, there's going to be millions of other people, but enjoy what you do in your life. And yeah, I would say enjoy the little things in life. So, you know, even if you do have acne or if you have that insecurity of anything, just be who you are and enjoy what you have in life. And, you know, there's somebody for everybody. So if you want to target skincare, do that. If you want to do other enhancements, do whatever makes you feel better.
Right. You know, I feel so lucky, and you probably see this too, because I've seen very famous people naked, right? When you see people without their clothes on, like we're really stripped of a lot. Yeah. And I see the vulnerable side of people, whether working at the U.S. Capitol or working in Southern California, right? Yeah. And at the end of the day, everybody has something that they're insecure about, and no one is perfect. And it was cool because I was in the car with my kids telling them this maybe 10 years ago when they were 8, 7, and 9 or something. And I said, you guys, you just have to realize no one is perfect. Everyone has something that they are insecure about. And my son, my wise little soul in the back seat, he goes, what if everyone's perfect? I was like, I go, I like that better. Everyone is perfect, just how they are. So just how you said, show up as you are.
Show up as you are, and that's, you know, your authentic self is going to be your best self.
Exactly. Yeah. But in the meantime, you have an esthetician who's here to help you.
Exactly. I'm like, well, if you have a little insecurity, we can target that, and, you know, it'll make it work.
Thank you, Gabby. How do people find you?
Yeah, so a few different ways. My Instagram handle is always the most popular, so it'd be skindeepbeauty_AZ, or on my website as well, same name. And yeah, I'm always open to consultations and just chatting. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. So any questions, I'm always up for. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to bother you. I don't want to ask too many questions, but I'm like, lay it all out. You know, give me a whole list of questions. I can just talk your ear off about skincare, and I'll be happy to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
bye, Gabby.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Listen to Your Skin by Moon and Skin. It's an honor to be part of your skincare journey. And if you love this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave us a glowing review, and share it with someone who's passionate about their skincare journey. And please connect with us on social to ask your questions, which will drive future educational episodes.